this for posterity.
Yeah. My sweet Mark. You look beautiful. I don't know if I could bend down. No, you have to.
Missing one. Your mom made.
If I would have known. Yep. I went through lunch where there's no cars.
What did you get? I was kind of worried about depending on the fog. No, I was all right. No. Came down last night here. Right. We had to get things set up. So we didn't know when you were going to come down. That's why we were going to stay over.
At least you haven't got it in the head. Oh, yes.
Dad, how about a look-see over here?
Your head.
Yes. How about a look-see?
I better.
Just like that's good, dog. We'll see how this turns out here. Oh, thanks. Just back from Europe.
Yeah, recuperating.
He's got Yeah, I was there.
You backpack.
Yeah.
You backpack.
Two titans, no man of strength.
And so it was really, I liked it. I really did.
Kim shower.
So I found you were never hungry. And you never
You're going to have to move that chair. In this chair.
We can have, yeah, we'll have like 2 rows of couches.
Yeah.
We have to prop it up a little higher.
Our wedding anniversary. And I'll tell you, when I was telling some people at work about 60 years of marriage, they could hardly believe it. And Dad, Mom and Dad, I want one thing from you today, is that I want you to sit back, and that's right. Because 15, 20 minutes ago, you had made a comment, Dad, and you got through 60 years. I want to get you through 10 more years of happy married life, so that's right.
And above all, hold hands.
That's right. And I want you to hold hands right now.
So you don't beat the other one. For the spectator, we're taking pictures. They got to be black and white. He gives me the rolling pin.
I'm not telling you.
Fast. He gave me the rolling pin. To take a picture for the spectator.
Now, to make comment on your 60 years together,
Yeah.
instead of me talking about it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some slides. And these slides are going to begin in 1928, and through them, I'm going to take you right up to the present. And hopefully at the end of it, we're going to have a better idea of what those 60 years have meant to you and to us.
You were there, Mark. What? At my wedding.
Brian, if you can get the lights. When the Model A Ford was roaring off the assembly lines in Detroit, it was the age of the flappers and a prohibition. Of course, Mom and Dad were never involved in that kind of a thing.
He had one of those.
That's right, we drove one.
We drove one to Toronto. He had
It
about
was the
60
time,
tires.
it was the time of Al Capone in Chicago and Rocco Perry in Hamilton. Now, we begin our story with this young gentleman here on the left. His name was John Mattis. As good a looking guy as you'll ever find from the 1920s.
Who's the lady?
I don't know, maybe Dad.
That's Nova Costa.
You know what? She looks like
That's
the
your
lady
aunt.
that came from Detroit to visit us in Hamilton.
That's the auntie.
Dad,
Remember Johnny?
Dad,
That looks like her.
can you identify that woman?
Grandma.
Yep, that does. It looks like her. I know
Grandma,
that.
there was another woman.
Now, one thing that Dad was looking for in the 1920s
Where's
is
Mr. and Mrs. Okay.
Dad was looking forward into the future for a good woman to marry. Looking off into the future here. And he did find that woman, a young lady by the name of Anna Yashinsky. And there's my mom with her mom. The year is 1925, and as you can see from this photo, Mom was a superb flat.
Oh,
Look at the hairdo.
Anna Todd.
Pretty
Imagine that. I don't know where Jackie would go to get all these pictures.
Now,
Oh, there's me in the box.
not quite. Mom and Dad in 1928 would marry in Detroit, and in Detroit,
And they traveled by boxcar to Hamilton.
in Detroit, they would try to make a life, and like all Americans and Canadians, they were looking forward to a time of prosperity. But as we know, in 1929, the stock market crashed. It was the beginning of the Great Depression. Dad lost his job. He never had to travel the rails like these gentlemen, but it was a time of great hardship. They returned back to Hamilton, but a little bit of happiness in their life. There he is right there. In 1929, the beginning of the Depression, this young fellow was born, John Mattis, otherwise known as Jack. Dad, I wonder if you could comment on how he got that nickname Jack. How did he get it?
Jack Dempsey was born in the hospital in Detroit. He was a tough baby. Brother later for 2 days. When he finally arrived, the nurse says, "There's our next Jack Dempsey."
No, the next president of the United States. But they tell that to everyone.
Jack Dempsey was a chaplain in those days, and so there's Jack Dempsey.
Forever he would be called Jack.
And from then on, the nurse would say, "Here comes Jack, Jack." And
Now,
look, there's.
as Jack was growing up in Hamilton, here's a shot with Mom.
That was on K Street.
This is 1 year old.
And there is Elsie.
That's right.
She was at my wedding.
There's a shot of Elsie and Mom and Jack.
That's my sister.
Yes. And there,
To try to rebuild their family life because they of course had to leave Detroit. He got a job, luckily enough, at Stanley Steel. And for the next 40 years,
Oh, yeah.
Dad would work at Stanley Steel uninterrupted, and I think one of the great accomplishments of Dad through those years, he only missed a day and a half of work in all of those years. And I think that's an incredible accomplishment and achievement. Dad, through the years, worked his way up from the field into the job of foreman, and that's where he would retire from. In 1939, another great event took place, and that was World War II. Broke out, and Mom and Dad, of course could not serve overseas. He was too old for that, but of course steel companies were busy producing weapons, all kinds of supplies for the men overseas. Jack continued to grow up. Here's a shot of Jack.
there is his dog. Some son of a
Jack,
gun
what was the
gave
name of that dog?
Black.
Black.
They gave him ground glass.
Now, Jack usually was a pretty good kid growing up, and occasionally you could see that Mom had some difficulty with him, had to discipline him. Here he is reluctantly saying, "Mom, I don't want to eat my supper right now." Mom says, "You gotta eat it."
That's aging.
That's down in aging court, 1930s.
What?
Now,
There's the
here's a
royal.
shot of Jack as a young cadet, and for one of the summers he was a cadet, and this is the shot out of the Campbell Street house, and you can see the old milk cart in the past. We're in the late 1930s now. Oh, I'm sorry, the early 1940s.
Mid-40s.
Jack was an outstanding athlete, and here are some shots of him at
Brian
Delta
Timmons.
Collegiate with his coach, Brian Timmons. Look at those old helmets. Jack was an outstanding football player, track star, basketball player, number 30.
Number 30.
And this would have been where? At Delta Collegiate, the backyard.
It's Alice Playground.
Now,
Now there's a pretty picture.
in 1943,
Little $80 smile.
1943,
You live it.
when Jack was 15 years old, some say an afterthought, came to Mom and Dad.
An accident.
Bill Mattis,
Maybe Dad made a mistake.
well, I don't know, did he? This is 1943, and there I am in the arms of Mom. Right at the end of the war. Here's a shot of Dad and Bill. I don't know if it was pride and joy or not.
He looks like Kanye. Oh, look
Now
at
you're gonna have to critique these shots, but I've never seen a cuter looking kid. I must admit that.
You laughing?
Here we are in front
And
of
who
the
made
home.
that outfit? Me.
Here's the home.
I did. I made the leggings. Okay.
Here's the home that I grew up in, 199 Campbell. I'd be about a year there. This is a shot I like, Jack with me. I'm about 10 months old there.
Can you imagine that?
What do you mean you're 10 months?
Bill wasn't, that's Jack.
Oh, yeah, Bill.
Now, 1945, the war came to an end. The world rejoiced.
That's King.
They could now get on to a period of peace and prosperity in the world. We're into the late 40s. This is a family picture, 1945-46. Mom and Dad, Jack, Bill.
Where'd you get him?
Jack, I think, I don't know how big he is.
Now, some of these shots were taken by Uncle Stan, who was a professional photographer at that time. This is in the Campbell Avenue living room.
That's our old pirate thing.
Here's Bill at Gage Park. That's right.
Take a little look at
Gage
that.
Park.
I like that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite shots.
Do you like that?
This is another.
Oh,
How many pictures of you are there in there?
I had to take something of it. Nathan, what do you think of that shot?
Hughes.
That's me.
Bias.
That horse.
Oh, yeah, he says,
Roy Rogers.
I can't believe that. Here's Uncle Stan and Bill. There's a good shot of Uncle Stan.
Yeah, very good
Yeah.
shot.
Isn't that a good shot?
That's my favorite.
Stan, because we took some.
We're in the late 1940s.
That's
Here I
his
am with
brother.
Dad, and I think that's taken in Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls.
Yep, late 40s. Now, this is one of my favorite shots because one of the guys I played with on Campbell Ave, and Mom and Dad knows all about him, was a little boy who just shoved me off that cart. And someone snapped this picture, and I got some tears rolling down my cheeks. And this is another favorite shot. Jack went
All his gang.
to Detroit, and he returned. He would have been in his late teens at this time with that cowboy outfit. And he brought that back for my birthday party. Nancy always reminds me that I'm a Halloween baby because I was born on October 29th. But these are all my friends from Campbell Ave at the Halloween
Peter.
party. Peter Tarvanen is there.
Peter's a folk boy.
Now, how about this shot?
I remember that. I got that.
I would say this picture is 1949. And for the folks who don't know, you can see Mom and Dad. There I am in the front with little Joycey, and Joycey has got a family of her own now. Behind Mom is Alice. There's Auntie Bessie. Next is Auntie Wanda, Bernice, Auntie Mary, and Marion on the end. Look at all the fashion styles from the late 40s.
And Dad and I look as if we owned the whole family.
That's
didn't we?
right.
I always thought that was Jack.
Now,
That was Bill there.
Yeah.
Youngster.
here's a shot of Jack in his late teens. Look